50 billion web pages, right? That's what's also so powerful about mobile devices, is you can go online with them. And right now, there are over, the number is something like 3.4 billion people online, so that's less than half of the world's population. It's about 37% of the world is online now. There are over 50 billion web pages today. Okay, and if you ever want to look at a graph of what that looks like from 1993, from the first website that Tim Berners-Lee put up when he developed the HTML language, it's like sky high. And it's just going to keep growing. So a mobile device gives you access to any one of those web pages, but what it's really powerful at is giving you access to these online learning environments. Not just a web page where you're going to consume content, but an online environment where you'll engage in the content, and a system will engage you in the content, personalizing your interaction with it, feeding you content based on your ability to do it and react to it. And the number one site to do that today is Khan Academy. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's been all over the news. What's, most people, many of the teachers I've talked to and hear about, when they talk about Khan Academy, they think flipping is the big deal about Khan Academy. That they can flip the classroom, have the kids view a video of what you want them to learn at home, come to the classroom and practice. That's really not the most significant thing about Khan Academy. And if you really want to know like the inside dirt on Khan Academy, you get his book. It's called The One World Schoolhouse, and it really gives you the whole history of his vision. It's a very good primer on the history of education, actually, and it gives you his vision for Khan Academy as the world's first free online school, and particularly where there are no schools, okay? So it's a very grand vision, and I have to say he's off to a great start, because again, it's less than 2 years old, and what's so powerful about it is what's behind the front page. It's this practice engine. How many of you are familiar with it? Okay, a number of people. So you don't just go on there and watch videos, you create an account, and then you engage in the content, and it's a practice engine. You begin. My wife, who is also a math specialist, usually has her students begin at a pretty low level just to see where they are. She's got like the 50 lowest performing math students in the district. Okay, the kids who can't pass math and can't pass the MCAS. And so she starts them out like in addition and says, okay, you get 8 right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those cards are counting as you're doing those 8 exercises, and the system then says, okay, here's the next 8, here's the next 8, once you do a certain number, in a certain amount of time, then they say you obviously have mastered addition and subtraction, you get the next step in the sequence. Okay, and it's the system, the learning management system, the online learning system that's so powerful here. And another part of that power is this, the dashboard. So this is a whole interface where you have the major subjects, and if we zoomed in here, these little blue dots would start to expand out, and as students move through this, every blue dot they master, because it's a mastery-based approach, it turns into a star to indicate mastery. And in addition to the star, it's accruing points in a gamified system. So there's badges and there's levels. It's all gamified. I mean, dozens of badges. The guy has gone crazy with what he's done. And he started this with literally nothing. He started with like the money in his pocket, running on a little local server, and now it is a multi-million-dollar, multi-country initiative being supported by Google and Microsoft. And Carlos Sims, who is the richest man in the world, he's from Mexico, he's a media telecom tycoon, he's putting up all the money to translate everything into Spanish. So he's going to roll it out across Mexico. So you're talking about a system that potentially will be a global learning system, the global schoolhouse system. And it's the power of that system that is so unique. And again, mobile devices enable you to connect, not just to 50 million web pages, which could be everything from the greatest things men have to say to garbage. It's the engagement in this online system that really gives you the power. And if you haven't seen CK12.org, CK12.org is another system like that. And Khan happens to be on the board of CK12. It's an open standards platform for teaching and learning. They have a great series of books called Flexbooks, and they're basically teacher-made online textbooks. All educators collaborating together and sharing their content in math, science, and across grade levels. They use a lot of Khan Academy videos, but they embed them in a textbook. So that's the idea of a Flexbook, and you can make your own Flexbook with pieces of their Flexbooks. You can download them as PDFs, or you can access them live online. And it's just a lot of good stuff there too. And again, it's free. So these are two, like I would say, these are the two most significant repositories and learning content and management systems we've known, and they're free. All right. And the other free one. So I'm a big proponent of open source and free systems. Is Moodle. Moodle is the largest online learning management system in the world. It's just surpassed Blackboard, which happens to be the #1 commercial platform. Moodle stood for Modular Object-Oriented Development Learning Environment. It doesn't really go by that anymore, but it was designed by educators, for educators, and particularly designed for blended learning. It was not designed as an online learning platform. It was designed as a platform to use in the classroom. So for me, like in the future, there will be nothing but blended learning. Like think of it that way, okay? And if you think that's a little bit of a jump, just think back to 1995, when I did many workshops like this, and I said, in the future, every organization, every company will have a website. Do you doubt that now? No, people would actually doubt that back then. They'd say like, well, why would my restaurant need a website? They're not going to do anything online. Because that's the way people equated it. Like, no, it's going to be online, you need a website if you're online. Or they're a local business, why would they need a website, right? Who doesn't have a website today? That's the way it's going to be with education. Every learning experience, every learning opportunity will have an online component. All right? Because right now the research is showing that's the most effective way. Integrating face-to-face and online are the most effective methods of teaching and learning. All right? So when the kids leave home, leave the classroom, they can continue to engage in the content. So Moodle is a system that lets you do that. If you have savvy network people, they can download it, install it for free. If you need a hosting service, there are a lot of hosting services available at very reasonable costs. So that's the